The snowstorm was the worst anyone had seen in years. Roads were buried, winds howled, and hope froze in the cold night air. But one old lady, alone in a small cabin, did something no one else would dare to do. She opened her door to 15 rough-looking bikers stranded on the highway. What she didn't know was that this single act of kindness would change her life forever. It was past midnight when the storm hit hard. The wind howled through the trees, snow piled up, and visibility dropped to nothing. A group of 15 bikers, members of the local Hells Angels chapter, were caught in it, their bikes struggling through the icy roads. The leader shouted through the wind, "We need shelter now!" They spotted a faint light glowing in the distance, a small wooden cabin tucked deep in the woods. When they knocked, an elderly woman, around 80, opened the door. Her silver hair framed a kind, wrinkled face. She looked at them, cold, tired, covered in snow, and smiled softly. "You boys look frozen. Come in, all of you," she said without fear or hesitation. Inside, the bikers stood awkwardly, unsure how to act. She made them hot soup, handed them blankets, and stoked the fire. One biker whispered to another, "Why is she helping us? We look like trouble." She just smiled and said, "Kindness doesn't need a reason." As the night went on, they talked. The lady told them stories of her late husband, a soldier, and how she lived alone since he passed. The bikers, men hardened by life, sat silently listening. One of them quietly repaired her broken window frame. Another stacked firewood by her door. Before dawn, they thanked her for her kindness. The leader said softly, "Ma'am, we'll never forget this." And they rode off into the snow, disappearing into the fog. The next morning, the old lady woke up to the sound of engines. Confused, she opened her door and gasped. Outside, the snow-covered road was lined with more than 100 motorcycles. Every biker from the chapter and from nearby towns had come. They stood in silence as the leader stepped forward and said, "You gave shelter to our brothers. Now we're here to return the favor." They shoveled her driveway, repaired her roof, stacked her pantry with food, and filled her oil tank for winter. Before they left, one of the bikers wheeled something forward, a brand new generator wrapped in a red bow. The old lady's eyes filled with tears as she whispered, "You boys didn't have to do this." The leader smiled. "Ma'am, you showed us what real family means. The least we can do is make sure you're never cold again." And as 100 engines roared down the snowy road, she stood by her door, hand over her heart, whispering, "God bless those bikers." Sometimes the biggest hearts come wrapped in leather and steel, because real heroes don't always wear uniforms. Sometimes they ride Harleys,